Good morning everyone. This is an introductory video of database management systems. So before we go into the technical world of softwares and servers, let's start with absolute building blocks of the digital age, data. So what is data? So if I walk into a room and simply shout 40285 or 5000, would that mean anything to you? Probably not. You might think I am just reciting random numbers. This is exactly what data is. Data is raw facts and figures. On its own, data is dumb. It has no context, no purpose, and no inherent meaning. So, in simple, data refers to raw facts and figures that do not have meaning on their own. Think of data like the individual ingredients for a cake: flour, sugar, and eggs, and they are sitting separately on a counter. They are not immediate, they are just components. In our world, this looks like a student's roll number, the price of a product, or the raw digits of an employee's salary. So, for the example of data, you can prefer these examples like student roll numbers, marks, employee salaries, or product prices. Now we have to understand what is information. So just think what happens when we take those raw ingredients like flour, sugar, or eggs and bake them. We get a cake, right? So in computing, when we take raw data and process it, we get information. Information is data that has been organized, filtered, and given context so that it becomes useful to human being. So in simple, information is processed data that becomes meaningful and useful. Take one number, 85. So if I process that through a grading system and say Rahul scored 85% in his DBMS, it suddenly becomes valuable. Now a teacher knows Rahul is doing well and his parents know he studied. So like that, we have moved from a raw fact to a meaningful knowledge. So now, once we have all this information, we can't just leave it scattered in various files or notebooks. We need a home for it. This is where database comes in. So now we will be understanding what is a database. Imagine a library. If all the books were thrown in a heap in the center of the room, you could never find anything. But if they are shelved by genre, author, and title, you have a system. So in simple, a database is an organized collection of related data stored in a structured form for easy access, management, and updating. And common real examples you interact with your everyday, like banking systems where your balance, transaction history, and account details are stored, and railway reservation system where they keep track of which seat is booked by whom on which train, or college management systems like tracking every student's grade, attendance, and fees in one structured place. So now if database is the library, who is the librarian? That would be the DBMS or database management systems. So it is a software that allows user to do some filters. So the DBMS is a specialized software that acts as an interface between the user and the raw data. Without a DBMS, you would have to manually search through the hard drives to find a simple single piece of information. The DBMS does the heavy filtering for us through four primary functions. So number one is store data. It decides exactly how and where the data sits on the disk. And number two is retrieval. It finds exactly what you are looking for in milliseconds. Number three is modification. It allows you to update information like when you change your phone number or something else. And number four is the security management. It ensures that only authorized people can see or change the data. So to put this into practice, you will encounter some famous brands of DBMS software throughout your career. You might use MySQL or PostgreSQL for web development, or Oracle for massive corporate systems, or Microsoft SQL Server for enterprise environments. So by the end of this module, you would not just be looking at data. You will be learning how to architect these systems to power the next generation of apps. So before we move to the next section, give me an example of a raw fact from your daily life and tell me how it could be turned into information right below in the comments.